Welcome to the GenDCOM podcast with your millennial host, Rachel.
And your Gen Z host, Bree.
And we're going to review all of the Disney Channel original movies.
Hello everyone, welcome to GenDCOM. I'm Bree.
And I'm Rachel, and this is the GenDCOM podcast.
In this podcast, we talk about many different movies, specifically Disney DCOMs.
Yes, because we love DCOMs and Disney in general, but we're going to specify on the DCOMs because there's too much.
Way too many.
Yes. So the way this started was because Bree and I are from different generations.
Yep. I'm Gen Z.
She's a lovely Gen Z.
Yes.
I am the last of the millennials, 96. And you were born, what, 2008?
2008, yeah.
Okay.
I was close to the cutoff.
Nice. So we've both had very different experiences with Disney Channel original movies. So we decided to have a little podcast to where we could both watch all of them. Some she's seen, some she hasn't, a lot she hasn't. I've seen a lot, and I also haven't seen a lot.
Yeah.
So our first movie is
Lemonade Mouth.
Yes, which I had never seen before except maybe about 30 minutes of. And Bree has seen it many times.
Many.
So yesterday was my first time watching it all the way through. Mm-hmm. And I have to say, for the first watch, I really liked it.
Yeah, it's a really good movie.
I was skeptical because obviously they don't hold up as well as they used to. Mm-mm. And I'm sure we'll experience that in the future.
I'm sure.
But this one I thought was very good.
Yeah.
So what do you think overall of the movie?
It's really good for, like, early on Disney. Of course, it always has, like, cringy moments.
Oh, but that's expected.
Of course.
I almost look forward to the cringe.
Of course. It's definitely one of my favorites, personally. Like, instead of one of the newer ones. Because the newer ones are great, don't get me wrong. It's just, they don't have that Disney spice that the older ones have.
It feels a little too produced.
Yeah.
I think that's why I kind of strayed away from them as well. Because, I mean, also I just got into high school. And so if you watched DCOM, you kind of got made fun of at that point. If you're in high school and you want to watch DCOMs, don't let people bully you out of it. Watch your DCOMs.
Exactly. It's kind of like the newer ones are more basic, kind of like they're experimenting with some things and they're kind of getting out there, but like the older ones had different storylines. Like each one was a different storyline and it wasn't kind of like okay, we're going to have this movie and then we're going to put it into like 5 different parts.
Yeah.
And they're all going to have close to the same storyline, but it's going to be kind of a mess as we continue.
Yeah. So if you haven't watched Lemonade Mouth, it's basically about some kids get put into detention.
Yep.
And
it's the old band room.
Yes, the old band room, which is in the basement where all the other clubs get put because the principal only supports the activities that make money, such as sports, because obviously everyone loves watching sports and that's where people pay tickets to go watch them. And so then the kids basically start a rebellion band and start a revolution. Yep. And that's kind of where the movie goes.
And there's this little vending machine right outside, and it sells lemonade.
Called Mel's Lemonade. And so I guess to start, I'd like to maybe dive into the characters.
Yes.
I would say Olivia, for me, was so relatable.
Yeah.
Because she's very awkward.
Stage fright.
Yes.
It's a big thing.
I related to her very hard. Yeah. I did have more friends than she did initially going in, but by like 2 more than her. But awkwardness is relatable.
Yes, definitely. I'm probably one of the most awkward people you will ever meet. Put me in a social situation and I will run.
Yes, I think we both definitely.
As far away as I can. I will go to wherever I can watch a Disney movie and I will sit down and I will ignore everyone.
Agreed. Or wherever there is a pet.
Yes.
Well.
If I'm not allergic.
Yeah.
Even if I am allergic, screw it.
Yeah. Being allergic, then you get an allergic reaction, you get to run away from the crowd. So
exactly, and then I get to go watch Disney.
Yes.
Boom.
But, so loved Olivia.
Yes.
Felt a little, Stella was very cringe to me.
Yeah.
She was the cringe rebel, which I get, but she, to me, had a lot of cringe moments. Yeah. She's the one with she's the one that starts the band. She's the one that has
the blonde streak.
Yeah.
Her. Yeah. She definitely is. She has her cringe moments. Probably one of my favorites, though, was when she spit lemonade.
Oh, yes.
That was one of my favorites.
Golden moment.
Yes. Most beautiful.
The two guys I felt like you didn't really get to see a lot. I don't even remember. One of them's Mo. No.
Yes.
Is Mo the girl? Yeah. I think Mo is the other girl.
Maybe.
And then there's the two dudes.
I can't remember what the guy who played on Dog with the Blog. I can't remember his character's name.
I can't
But
either.
there was Win.
Win? Oh,
Ginger.
okay. Yes, okay.
Olivia.
I liked him a lot.
Yeah.
I thought he was funny. And I think his rapping is funny because he's just this...
He's kind of like that high school SoundCloud rapper.
Oh, yeah. For sure.
Yeah.
But can we talk about the weird band names? The Mudslide Crush? Who thought of that? Who thought that that was a good... Because this Mudslide Crush is supposed to be the super popular band, which, by the way, also, I thought it was just hilarious how popular these high school bands were in this movie, in what I assume is this somewhat small of town. But Mudslide Crush, like, what kind of name is that?
It's either the writers were like, okay, we need name suggestions, right?
Yeah.
We don't want to ask the producers. Let's talk to the cast.
Yeah.
And the cast came up with that, or
their little brother did.
I have a kid, and they really want to be a part of this movie, but they're too young to play any parts because it's a high school movie. So I was thinking they could name one of the bands.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
It definitely.
And then they brought in the kid, and the kid just scribbled on a piece of paper and was like, Mudslide.
And can't get past that name.
No.
Also, I thought their songs were very lame. Of the music, I loved Determinate is my jam.
Yes.
Before
it's
I
probably
even
my favorite on the soundtrack.
Oh yes, before I even watched this movie, I used to listen to Determinate because my little sister loved Lemonade Mouth, so she would put that song on in the car,
amazing song.
And I would jam hard to that song.
Exactly.
And also, She's So Gone, also my jam. The rest of the songs were good.
They were. It's just not like, it's kind of like Let It Go versus Into the Unknown.
Yes,
when
agreed.
It comes to Lemonade Mouth. It's like, I love this, and it's like, it's a hit, and it's my favorite song, but this is good, you know? It's just, it doesn't hit the mark perfectly for me.
Whereas Mudslides, I just thought were just bad.
No.
I was like, even the chorus, I was like, maybe when we get to the chorus, it'll pick up a little bit.
I don't know why they were popular.
I think it's just agreed. I was like, this is the competition.
Yeah.
They're fine. They've got no problem to win this.
They should not be wearing it all.
No, not at all. What would you say were your favorite things about the movie and your least favorite things about the movie?
I love the plot.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the characters are great. It's just Win and Olivia are adorable.
Yes.
It's just when they're put together, like, I love the awkwardness because it's very true. That's exactly how it is.
Oh, yeah.
But it's just...
I felt like because we had, what was it, five main characters, basically, we didn't really get to dive deep into any of them. It stayed almost a little surface level.
Exactly.
Which didn't make me get attached to any of the characters very well.
Like, they kind of focused on, we're going to get these two characters together.
Yep.
We're going to make this one have a toxic relationship, but we're really not going to talk about it.
Yeah, I know. I was like, let's dive deep. I wanted to dive deep into her.
Yeah.
I think her name is Mo. I think she's Mo.
I think it is.
I wanted to dive deep into her more because I loved this empowerment that she had from leaving this dude. What was his name? I wrote it down somewhere.
I don't know.
I think his name was Steven.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure
Scott. It's Scott.
Yeah.
I wrote it down because
I don't understand his character.
I don't understand his fedora. And then at the end, he trades his fedora for a faux hawk, which was a little bit better, but still not great. I'm like, someone did this Scott do dirty with his wardrobe, because I'm like, first of all, he's wearing blazers in high school. No one wore blazers in high school unless they had a
It's really rough.
Really good presentation for their AP class.
It is really rough.
So, yes, I wanted to dive deep into Mo's leaving this dude and realizing she's so much better without him.
Yeah.
And then I was super happy when he was like, I'm sorry. And she's like, you're going to have to do a lot more than that to get me back. And I was like, yes!
Like,
that's the way it should be.
Something more. Like, with her rather than like feels like even though we had 5 characters, we kind of focused on Olivia.
Yeah, and I didn't really want to focus on her.
No. Like, she's a great character. She's very relatable, but it's like she's not the best of the bunch.
Yeah, I'm like, I mean,
she's not the most, like, I wouldn't say troubled, but it's like she doesn't have the most. She does have an interesting past. But they didn't, even though they focused on her, they didn't really...
They didn't dive deep into her growth from it.
Like, they didn't tell us why... Did they tell us why her dad got arrested? I don't think they did.
They just, all she said was that he made some questionable choices after her mom died, and she doesn't know him anymore. But
that was, like, a last-minute change to her character.
Yeah, and then it was all of a sudden, there was this flip of her... like wanting to talk to her dad again, and I'm like, we never saw the growth from her, like feeling so alone, and then all of a sudden, now she's talking to her dad, and she's got. I mean, I guess I get it. She had friends and stuff, but I didn't see that growth from her. It's just all of a sudden the switch was on.
It was kind of like an on and off switch. It was weird. And then, oh gosh, there was something that I was thinking. Right, it's funny that they included something with someone getting arrested because one of the actors did.
Yes.
So
when the one who I felt could have been. I mean, obviously, most of the people in this cast are very talented musically, but he's a very talented dude. He can rap pretty well. He's got a decent singing voice, and from what I've seen on like other videos and stuff, I think he plays music or plays a lot of instruments too. Because I've seen him in other stuff where he plays music, and.
He could have gone somewhere.
Yes, he could have gone somewhere, but he went to rob a bank and went to jail.
Yep.
And it's kind of sad.
With his girlfriend, right? Allegedly?
I guess so. I don't know. I didn't really read. I just saw one day was scrolling through
an article.
And it was like Disney Channel stars that are been arrested or something
casually
like
in
that.
Prison.
And it was that guy. And he was arrested. And I was like, well, that's sad. So don't rob a bank, kids.
Nope. Stay in school.
Another thing I would definitely want to talk about is, because as we discussed earlier, all Disney DCOMs have cringe moments. And this one had a lot of cringe moments.
One that kills me a little inside when I watch it is the kitten scene. Like, it's cute.
Yeah.
But Olivia and Wynn, like, the actors just don't have that chemistry.
And why did no one wash that poor cat? That was the most mangy looking cat. And I'm like, this cat, look, I get that it's old and they're trying to show that, but there is a lot of old cats that do not have that raggedy fur like that. The only cats with fur like that are ones that live on the streets and haven't been bathed in years.
And it's like,
because we know, because we are cat people.
Exactly. It's not that they didn't necessarily have stage chemistry. It was kind of that bad kind of awkward. Not like that high school, like, this is awkward because I like you. No, it wasn't that. It was just awkward. Why do you get someone a cat without asking?
Yes.
Like, you can't just show up to somebody's door and be like, I got you a
also,
cat.
Where was he holding it? Because it's like, it looked like he pulled it out of his pocket. He's like, I got you this. And I was like, where did that come from?
Back? I don't know. Like, how was he angled? Like,
I'm like, that cat would have ran away.
And then how he just kind of awkwardly stands behind her and she's like,
thanks for this cat that I now have to feed and take care of.
And Wynn and Olivia probably have some of the most cringy moments because there's another one where it's like, I like it when you smile.
Yes. I would say every moment with their parents, with them interacting with their parents, was cringe. So cringe.
Like, Wynn and Olivia always have that same energy as, I like the view.
Yeah.
It gives me that energy every time. I'm like,
oh,
okay.
Yes.
Yep.
And then the other honestly, the cringiest of cringe moments, which probably was because this dude could not act very well, was the long-haired dude, the drummer, and his brother. Whenever he's like, gets in the car and he's like, it's hard to be perfect. And then his brother's like, well, I haven't been getting the best grades, so I'm not perfect anymore. And then they're like, let's go tell mom and dad together. And the brother, I don't think, could act at all. It seemed like they just picked someone off the street to play this dude. It was like, you look like this guy.
We won't have to pay you much.
Yes.
Come on.
And I was like, whoa, that was so cringy.
A lot of the acting, like, there were certain actors that I was like, okay, yeah, they can make it. Like,
Oh, yeah.
Bridget, I think her name is, the one who plays Olivia in Good
Oh,
Luck
yeah,
Charlie.
Bridget Mendler.
She's good.
Yes.
But she has to be paired with the right person.
Yes,
The
I
right
agree.
kind of cast.
Yes, and this was not the
wasn't
cast.
the right cast.
Yes.
I think the guy from Dog with a Blog and Bridget may have had potential to work together,
Mm-hmm.
but the whole cast together, I just don't feel it.
Yes. And another moment that I need to talk about, because this just baffled me, was when Win comes home
Oh, yeah.
to a bunch of boxes, and he's like, oh, what's all this? And he was like, his dad's like, it's Stella's. I'm like, what kind of father does not talk to their son and
Exactly.
say, hey, buddy, how do you feel? I mean, not even just the fact, okay, I think that a parent should definitely, like, have maybe, not that they need their kid's permission,
No.
but it should be a conversation. And
You should have talked to Win about
Yes.
proposing, too.
Oh, yes.
Like,
and
you
I'm
don't
like,
just propose to someone
yes.
when one of your kids is already, like, not okay with it.
Yes, and it's like, not, again, not that they need to have
No.
they need to
Not like they can control your
get
decision.
permission, but you need to make them feel like they have an opinion, because they do, and
have,
it
like-
should matter to you
Yeah.
because they're your child, and this is
Exactly.
about their living situation.
Yeah, it's literally about their life. Like, this is gonna be
And you're just gonna let this
like,
woman move in and tell him by him seeing the boxes? Like, don't even give him the decency to say, hey, by the way, I'm having her move in.
yeah.
Don't even give him a warning.
No, like this doesn't make sense. The black eye that he came to school with,
Was funny.
the makeup, it didn't cover completely under his eye. I was like,
Yeah. And the broken finger was also got me when he
Oh.
just slams his hand in. I'm like, no one is that angry that they slam it like that.
Yeah,
You know better.
exactly.
I don't know. But
Like, it's kind of like you forget what you're doing and you, like, start to walk away and then you do it. It's not
Yes.
just like you're watching intently like, okay, I'm gonna do this, and then bam, ow, no.
Yes.
It's not usually on purpose.
and then the whole end, the last concert, not the last concert, the competition concert was very uncomfortable to watch.
A lot of it is uncomfortable to watch.
You're right.
But
It's
a really good movie.
But it is, I know, it's got a good message.
Yeah, it's
But
like,
it is, I would say, one of the most cringe. Well, maybe not. There's a lot of cringe in all the DCOMs, but
It's
this one, there is a
lot of-
lot of cringe.
Yeah, a lot of the fight scenes are just so uncomfortable to the point where you literally want to get up and walk away.
I mean, one of my favorite things in Disney movies is the bullying.
Yeah.
Because it's so, like, when Stella first comes to school and the guy's like, nice hair or whatever to her, I'm like, kids don't do that in high school. Kids don't make fun of kids off of the way that they will off the way they look, but they do it behind their backs, not to their face. They don't make fun of a kid to their face unless they know the kid and want to pick on them, which it happens, but kids, one, are a lot meaner than that if they're going to bully someone.
Ooh.
A lot meaner, and they're just, yeah.
It's either they're really manipulative or they just pick on you.
Exactly. Most
It's
friends,
either-
especially with girls are back.
Yeah.
They are. That's where the
They
term frenemies comes
They
from, because
constantly backstab people.
oh, it is like backhanded compliments
Yeah.
through the end.
Ooh.
And I
It
would
never
know.
stops.
Yes.
It's like guys are more so to pick on someone. Girls are more so to either stab someone in the back or manipulate them.
Yes, whereas guys just get angry at each other and then fight it out and then are best friends again later.
Or they have a tiny argument and then hug it out.
Yep. Or they just, if they don't like you, they just don't hang out with you.
Nope.
Which, I mean, I guess maybe women should learn from something like
Probably.
that. But also, maybe not.
It's also cat fights. You know, that term is fun.
Yes. Okay, so now I want to talk about, would you say the show holds up for you?
Yes.
Because for me, I definitely think it does. Compared to, I mean, obviously it is not a movie for a 24-year-old to watch right off the bat. But as a kid's movie, objectively, I can say that I think it is a very good movie.
Yes.
especially compared to some DCOMs, because there's some DCOMs that I'm like, how did I even watch this as a kid? Because this is bad. But yes, I think it is a very good movie. It has a great message to be strong, be loud, be proud, go on and make some noise. Yeah. Those are the lyrics to the song, if you know that. Oh, another thing I need to say is that I really find it hilarious in movies, because one thing I will say was accurate in this movie is the fact that a lot of extracurriculars that are not sports do get crapped on in high school. Like, because I was in soccer, but I will say most sports also get crapped on, especially for the females, because I was in soccer in high school, and we did not get, I mean, for a long time, I think the first 2 years I was in soccer, we shared a locker room with like 3 other sports, and there was black mold building in our locker room. So, whereas the football guys had carpeted floors with really nice benches, and they had TVs in their locker room. And granted, there's a lot more guys in the football team, so of course they had their own locker room. But just for an example. So, that was accurate. But what was so inaccurate to me is the soccer and how and how huge of a sport that is there, and how everyone acts like it is the football team in high school. And I'm like, no.
Football is the biggest sport.
Football is the biggest
Always.
sport. I mean, I don't know about outside of America. I mean, obviously soccer is very popular outside of America. But
in America,
this movie is based in America. Yeah. So
it's like, it's kind of, I'm pretty sure it's football, basketball.
Baseball is also very popular depending on where you are. I think, and it also depends on location, because I don't know. I know like up north, I think there's like hockey and stuff that's very popular. Hockey. But obviously
I feel like hockey is the only thing that I could watch without falling asleep.
I would like to watch it because people fight a lot.
Exactly.
But
and a lot of people still can fall on the ice. Yes,
that would be fun to watch.
Anyway.
Back to
lemonade mouth again.
Oh, and another inaccurate thing was when, well, first of all, a principal, I don't know, because I went to a pretty well-off school. Mm-hmm. It was very big. We definitely got a lot of money. And there was definitely not cameras around in the principal's. I mean, there were cameras around, but for security purposes, but no one was manning the cameras 24/7. So I found it very funny that Mo gets in trouble
and gets caught
for skipping class, because I was like, it was very easy to skip class in high school. Yeah. I mean, I used to unless you
have a really strict hall monitor.
And even then, though, because especially if you're at a bigger school, which that school was they made it seem very big to be compared to my high school, which was, we had over 500 kids in each grade.
Disney high schools ginormous.
Oh my gosh, that one looked like it could have been a college. It was so nice. It was beautiful. I was like, I want to go to that school.
Exactly.
But it was way easy. In a high school that big, it would have been super, super easy to skip class. Yeah. But I will say it is very accurate to see 2 kids go in and one kid doesn't get in trouble because of the sport they're in, and the other kid does. That was very accurate for sure. But again, back to the fact that if you're in sports and the sport makes money for your school, you get better treatment. Yeah. But yes, overall, I think Lemonade Mouth is an amazing movie. Yeah. For a DCOM, obviously.
It definitely holds up again. It definitely holds its own against the newer Disney movies.
Oh yeah, I would say it's definitely up there with High School Musical, because obviously High School Musical is probably my favorite. Which brings me to,
I haven't watched all the High School Musicals.
You only need to see the first 2. The third one is good. I like it, but I think that's just part of the nostalgia. Probably. But also that's not technically a DCOM because it didn't. It came out in theaters, so we'll only really need the first 2. Yeah. But we are going to do a top 5 rank, which obviously right now we're not going. I mean,
we haven't seen enough to be.
We haven't seen enough, so we're gonna do it as we go along. So Lemonade Mouth.
Episode 6.
Yes, Lemonade Mouth deservingly gets number 1
currently.
And so next week we'll decide, depending on what we watch, what gets number 1 or 2. Yeah. Unfortunately, I meant to print off all of the DCOMs on Disney Plus so that we could put them in a bowl and draw before our next podcast, but I forgot to do that. So we're just going to have to draw outside of this, and then it'll just be a surprise what we're watching next week.
And then we'll make sure to.
And we'll have the bowl ready for the next time. So, sorry about that, guys. But
sorry to disappoint.
Yes. But overall, Lemonade Mouth, great. It's at number 1 right now.
Thank you guys so much for listening. Make sure to check out our socials, Instagram and Twitter, at GenDCOMPod. We upload every Friday at 10 a.m., and we will see you next week at the GenDCOM podcast.
Bye!
Bye!